Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, power podcaster, featured in Time Magazine and not on Nick Viall's podcast. That's right. It's Bachelor Nation News. Was I deleted from yesterday's Clayton Echard podcast, the most pivotal moment in the Clayton Echard scandal, and was I left out? Those are the questions people want answers to. Well, I'm going to get down to the bottom of it, as we tend to do here on our channel, recording from my mobile podcasting setup as we're actually moving today. The movers are coming, so I'm up bright and early to make this video, and that's right, sad Dave right there. Nobody wants to see sad Dave. Are those real tears? Who cares? Don't let the truth get in the way of a good thumbnail. All right, folks. Well, normally I have my X-Files music I can play when I ask a mysterious question, but I don't have that. So I'm going to go a cappella for you. Was I deleted? Do, 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 do. We're going to find out. I'm going to play the clip again. I'm going to play like the 5-second clip. I've actually got, and this might be, I'm already calling it beforehand, this might be my best video ever. Okay, not to put any high pressure on myself, but we will rise to the pressures of the Bachelor community. I've got this video. I've actually found the updated video. I've got the text message I sent Nick, haven't gotten a response yet, and then I've got what other content creators are saying. Plus, I asked you guys for merchandise ideas, and boy, are you making me laugh here. Some hilarious moments. Okay, let's start it off. Here's the actual clip. Have a listen.
Cases. In my case, it got pushed for a week later. We ran out of time. I get out of my case and I get a text from a podcaster, and he said, "Hey,"
and that's where it was. That was the part where that it was edited out, right? Not a huge deal, but what I did, as you guys know, I did my research and I stumbled upon an edited version of this clip. Would you guys like to see? I'm going to need a verbal answer, either hell yeah or no thanks. Would you guys like to see the video that I stumbled upon? I heard a hell yeah. Here it is. Here's the actual full clip of Clayton Echard talking about me on the Nick Viall podcast. Have a listen.
I get out of my case and I get a text from a podcaster
named Dave Neal, featured in Time Magazine.
And he said, "Hey,
I will defend you on my platform because I feel it's the right thing to do, even if I will be sued for harassment. And it's okay that other content creators would rather not defend you until legally they're in the clear. Even if they decide to delete my name from an interview, I'll still use the rage from my strong audience to promote my podcast, Bachelor Rush Hour, and also my Patreon. For private membership opportunity, patreon.com/Dave Neal."
And he said, "Hey, you did a good job today. And you represented yourself well." And I said, "What?" I go, "How do you know?"
"Because I supported you this whole time, even when other podcasters didn't, until it was convenient for them, which might be why they waited 3 weeks to air this, and the information in this episode isn't exactly accurate. And make sure not to blame Clayton Echard, as he's been a loyal supporter of mine and defender of my work." You know, when there was only one set of footprints in the sand, Clayton said, "Where were you, Dave?" And then Dave responded, "Clayton, I was carrying you." Okay, so I've got what Reality Steve said, but here's and also fair criticism. I love my audience. Someone said, "I don't like Nick, but the way you talk about your name being deleted from the conversation, it got you upset, and you texted Nick. It's not doing you any favor in terms of your image." First of all, I don't care about my image. I'm not saying don't mention it. Mention and move on until you hear back again. Then mention it briefly again. The way you create content from it, in addition to the fact that the whole interview is really driving Reality Steve mad, doesn't do you any favor. It gives you waiting for a praise and an approval from Nick, as if you approve his superiority, which he is not. Just a friendly advice from your Canadian friend. And by the way, love you, whatever. I'm not knocking you. I'm cool, guys. We knew this was going to happen. No one's surprised. But it's not just about me. He did it to Morgan Pops. He did it to She's All Batch. He does it to Jared Freed. He has this thing where he feels like if he shares It's like, bro, you got a successful podcast. He feels like if he shares other people's names on his show, they'll then run and get all the full information, which goes to show he doesn't care about Clayton's best interest. So here's what I texted him. And again, I read it on the podcast, but for you guys, hey, Nick, I really enjoyed the Clayton interview. I'm glad his story is getting out there. I had a question I hope you can provide some clarity with. Did you or someone on your team intentionally edit out my name from your show? Some context. I'm sure you hear more of the criticisms of you than the positives, but I've always respected your business plan, provided healthcare for your employees, production value, etc. Sure, if you say something I disagree with, I comment on that on my opinion-based channel. I truly respect what you do. And I mean that. I stand by that. I respect his page and the business he runs. I said I'm a bit discouraged in thinking you would remove my name from the discussion. My audience deserves the credit for championing Clayton's story for the last 4 months. We've put pressure on press to cover it, funding Clayton's GoFundMe. I'm even embroiled in a harassment lawsuit because I was one of the very few content creators covering this. While I'd never expect others to have my back, I did think there might be some goodwill and respect between the channels after you called me to let me know you appreciated the content I make. True story. The only time you asked me to not cover a story, I gladly obliged. Look at it this way. I also have a baby on the way. I covered this story as fair as could be, and because no other channels covered it when it was most important, I was targeted with a frivolous lawsuit I'm now forced to defend. And again, he'll probably blame me for it and everything, and it's like, whatever. I understand there's competitiveness between content creators. I get why you wouldn't ask me to be on your channel, but if there was intentional reason to edit out my name, I'd want to at least give you a chance to comment before I report on that. Glad Clayton is getting his story out. Good luck with all the baby stuff. It's super exciting to see. Feel free to comment or not, but I wanted to give you the chance to respond. I don't mean any beef, but respectfully, I think it's shady. Thanks for listening. Now, I have spoken to, my last message with Nick was several, I think a baby message, so it's probably within the last month or two. Either way, so it's his phone number. It's not like I have the wrong number here. This was from a fellow podcaster that I really, really respect. They said, I think, and again, you might know who it is. I think he just doesn't want to help promote you, which is a dick move by Nick. He's always been just about Nick. And to be honest, I'm sure before this whole paternity scandal, Clayton was just another washed up reality star that would interview on podcasts. But now that there's something that Nick can gain from it, he's happy to have Clayton on. It's really effed up. All right, well, let's listen to what Reality Steve had to say. I haven't listened to this. I'm sure it's in defense of me because it's just ridiculous and petty. It's one thing to not say somebody's name. It's another to take it out. It's akin to plagiarism, because it's not crediting the person that's in the conversation. People might want to hear Clayton mention my story with him and say, oh yeah, let's talk more about it. You know what's actually funny? And again, this doesn't bother me. It's actually really funny. Someone posted this. Oh no, this isn't the one I was going to share. Someone had posted another thing that's, I don't have it here. Someone had posted another comment being like, oh, how funny that you talk about Clayton so highly and he doesn't even mention your name. Look, Clayton's defending himself, okay? I make a living covering this channel. It's not like I'm his high school friend that went to bat for him, okay? I have my own reasons for doing it and he does. I'm probably going to see him this weekend. Not a big deal if he's not sharing everybody's name. He's telling his story. Someone said, I honestly was near tears watching your face when they kept calling you the podcaster after all your months of hard work and after great personal sacrifice monetarily and otherwise. After you had Clayton's back like that, raising money, speaking truth, and then being sued, I am heartbroken for you. You absolutely did not deserve this. I hope you get a major public apology from both of them and an invite on the podcast. I am in Israel right now, and your podcast has been such a beautiful escape from the chaos. Appreciate you. I don't need an apology from Clayton. Okay. He said my name. It was deleted. I asked him. He said he thinks he said my name. I think you can tell from that clip. If Nick, I gave Nick a chance to respond, but it appears to me as though my name was edited out. Have a listen.
Dave spoke with Clayton. I don't think Clayton brought my name up in the podcast, and when I listened to it, I don't really see a point where he really could have. But Clayton 100% said Dave Neal's name on Nick's podcast yesterday, and Nick edited it out. Dave contacted Nick yesterday. As far as I know, Nick never responded to him, which is not a shocker. Every time we've called Nick out for something, whether publicly or even privately, he doesn't respond.
And by the way, I get Nick's MO. He says, oh, I don't read the comments. I don't respond to the trash or the criticisms. I get that. This is valid. It is a valid criticism to call out a larger podcaster who what appears to have targetedly removed from the conversation the credit where it would have been. What I would have done in Nick's scenario is I would have leaned into the part of the story about the fan base donating to Clayton's GoFundMe. This is amazing that the fans came together after a lot of people, including myself, again, I'm speaking as if I was Nick, a lot of people, including myself, criticized you for the way you handled your season. You had a hell of a mental health run, but it's amazing to see fans come together in this way, all inspired by a fellow podcaster named Dave Neal, who decided that that he was going to, a lot of times there's bystander syndrome. Bystander syndrome is when you, as a bystander, expect somebody else to do the right thing. This happens sadly with violence in the streets. Everyone goes, oh, someone else will call 911, and next thing you know, you watch an atrocity happen. Oh, someone else will start a GoFundMe for Clayton. He'll be fine. I'm busy. I got a podcast to get up. Come on. It's actually, the more I think about it, the more disgusting it is that he did this. But we've seen it with, with other people in the past. The one time I think someone mentioned me on his channel, Becca Moore, he kind of just talked over it. It's just but this case of clearly taking my name out of the conversation is very bizarre.
Because he thinks he's above us. He doesn't feel like he needs to address people, even though we have legitimate reasons. This isn't whining. This isn't sour grapes. Clayton says Dave Neal's name. And here's the thing. If you listen to the podcast, you know exactly where Clayton brought up Dave's name for the first time. And that was the whole first hearing. And Clayton got out of the hearing, and Dave texted him and said, hey, man, you did a good job today. Clayton didn't even know the first hearing was being live streamed.
All right, so Reality Steve shares it. And I want you to know I'm practicing what I preach. Every single interview I've done, I've made sure to give credit to Reality Steve because he's had my back, because he's had my blind side, and because he's covered the story as well. Every single interview I've done, he's mentioned in it because I didn't do this alone. We shared notes. We talked about a lot of things. There was a real camaraderie that existed there. So anyway, what else do I have to share? So I posted this after the funny Nick diss by deleting my name. I'm taking suggestions below for merch ideas. I'm going to make a t-shirt tomorrow. I didn't do it. I'm moving. I didn't make a t-shirt, but maybe we will. Something simple. If anyone has a logo they think would be funny, let me know. I didn't even know if anyone was going to post on this. I got 127 comments. Someone said, that's Dave, some podcaster Neal, to you, sir. So she also said, I am the podcaster, Dark Vader style. Put my name in your mouth. That's a fun one. Is this Dave Neal? No, it's just some podcaster. Not just deleting your name, but censoring comments that mention your name. Wild and weird. Oh, we didn't even get over that part. Yeah, a lot of comments were deleted that were mentioning my name. You are some kind of wonderful podcaster. That's very kind, but that's not going to use that for merchandise, but I appreciate that. Let's see here. I'm so curious as to the motivation to not include your name. Is it just a slight to Dave? Something more? So strange. Dave Neal, since that's the only effing way we can comment your name on his YouTube. They spell my name with 4s. How weird. Fan of Dave Neal with a some podcaster in red. Something like attached. Wow, this is great. Tracy, look at this. Proud fan of Dave Neal, some podcaster. Can we make this a bigger one? Open link in open image in new tab. That's fantastic. Do you have a high-res version of that? That's some podcaster. Oh my gosh. Let's make that on a black shirt. I'm actually wearing my Game of Roses shirt. It's almost a similar color right now. Oh, that's a fantastic one. I'll have to... Hey, Tasha. Hey, honey, come here. Let's see if she can get in here. Some podcaster via the other... Come here. Okay, no, you come here. Real quick. Just real quick. Come here. My favorite podcaster was edited out of the Viall files. Some podcasters giveth credit where credit is doeth. The podcaster that must not be named. Unless you want a divorce, you really should credit your source. That's funny. Honey, I'm so sorry. Come here. Just look at this one logo. Tasha, come here. I had to pull her from outside. Oh, that's not it. Here it is. Proud fan of Dave Neal, some podcaster. That's a good one.
That's really good.
Can we make a shirt out of that?
See if they'll send us their art.
Okay, let me know. Tracy, if you'll send us the high res of that, because that is fantastic. Barrel scraping podcaster. I'm the podcaster. Having the twins if you don't credit Dave Neal tonight. Dan said, keep Dave Neal's name out of your effing mouth. So funny. Oh boy, I get my info from Dave Neal. Put a strike through Dave's name. Some podcaster, aka your daily barrel scraping Bachelor Rush Hour boy, Dave Neal. Everyone should go to his podcast and rate it with 0. Oh no! Don't give him bad. Don't give him bad reviews. I don't want to play that game. We're better than that. Every time Clayton says a podcaster, did Nick edit out? No, I don't think. I only think he edited out in the first place. Look, you have to understand. Clayton has been calling this lady some lady. You know, he's been very careful to not mention other people's names. He doesn't want to get other people the attention they might not want, previous victims. But you know, I trust me when I say there's no blame to Clayton here. Natalie said, he hid my comment about your other charitable causes. Pretty disappointing. Some podcaster in all lowercase. Whatever you do, don't mention the name Nick on the t-shirt. We don't need to inflate his ego. Oh, no, why would I do that? As featured in the Viall files. Power recapper, rap with some podcaster. Podcaster Doeth. Oh, these are funny. I'm with some podcaster. That's funny, too. Some podcaster got me a lawyer. Nick Viall 4 months late and also not pregnant. I would honestly buy some podcaster. Nick versus some podcaster. Dave Neal crossed out with podcaster underneath. Like, follow, and subscribe. Some podcaster. I follow some podcaster. Bachelor Rush Hour with some podcaster. He also deleting comments or shadow banning anyone who mentions you. What is this guy's deal? Give credit where credit is due. They are also petty. It's poor journalism and disrespectful. Will you be shipping to Canada? I'm not sure. Editing Dave Neal out of the podcast if I don't hear back tonight. I was literally going to say some podcaster. Oh, it goes on and on and on. You guys can read all of the comments. The podcaster formerly known as Dave Neal, some podcaster. He who shall not be named, Dave Neal, power recapper. Bachelor's famous podcaster. Dave Neal should read his favorites on the podcast. Well, here we are, folks. So funny, guys. This might be one of my last videos, if not my last video before I close the laptop on this chapter of my life. I will be recording from the mobile studio all week long, but I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, for people that say, oh, Dave, don't be petty, I'm just rallying around you guys. You guys have, made this a movement. I appreciate you. Again, the greater picture, it's not about me, it's about Clayton and the other victims, but the side story, we're allowed to have a little fun along the way. And how bizarre was this? Thank you guys so much. As far as I can tell you, it is time for, hold on, where's the dang thing here? Where did it go? Oh, it's on this one. It is time for some podcaster to sign off. I'll talk to you guys all later. And by the way, we'll try to get a merch shirt made, and I'll let you know. So make sure to follow me on Facebook and all that jazz, and we'll let you know.